Assalamu Alaikum, brothers and sisters. Not every relationship is a blessing. Some are tests placed in our lives to teach us, redirect us, or even protect us from harm. When Allah intervenes in your life, it's never without wisdom. The signs may be subtle or obvious, but they are always intentional, guiding you toward what is best for your soul. In this video, we'll explore the unique signs that Allah might be saying no to your relationship. These aren't coincidences. They are divine messages crafted with love and mercy. Recognizing them can save you from heartache and bring you closer to the peace only Allah can provide. Sign 1. Sudden, unexplained disconnection or distance. Sometimes Allah doesn't need to send a thunderous sign or a life-altering event to guide you away from a relationship. Instead, He gently creates a distance, a quiet yet powerful shift that changes everything. This distance might be emotional, physical, or even circumstantial, leaving you puzzled and unsure of what happened. One moment, the connection feels strong, the bond unbreakable, and the path ahead clear. Then, out of nowhere, things begin to feel different. The relationship starts to fade, not with a dramatic ending, but with a series of subtle yet undeniable shifts. This disconnection might feel unexplainable at first. The person you once felt so close to may suddenly seem distant, unresponsive, or less interested. Their presence becomes sporadic, their words fewer, their energy changed. Alternatively, you might find yourself pulling away without knowing why, feeling a quiet discomfort that makes it harder to invest in the relationship. No argument or event triggers this shift. It simply happens. This is one of the ways Allah intervenes, guiding you gently but firmly toward what is better for you. Think about it. How many times have you heard stories of people who were deeply involved in a relationship, only for it to end without a clear cause? They might have tried to fix it, to hold on, but the distance only grew. They didn't realize at the time that this distance was a form of protection, a way for Allah to remove what wasn't meant for them. Sometimes, what feels like rejection or loss is actually Allah's way of redirecting us, protecting us from a future we cannot yet see. For instance, perhaps circumstances arise that make it harder to maintain the relationship. One of you moves away, a new job requires long hours, or family responsibilities create unavoidable obligations. On the surface, these might seem like obstacles, but they could very well be signs. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, might be creating a physical separation because He knows that this relationship is not destined to bring you peace or fulfillment. At other times, the disconnection is emotional. You might notice that the conversations aren't as meaningful, the excitement fades, or there's a growing sense of indifference. This can be painful, especially if you've invested your time, energy, and heart into the relationship. But emotional disconnection can also be one of Allah's ways of protecting you from a deeper heartbreak or a future filled with conflict. It's as if Allah is gently loosening the ties, preparing you to let go. There's also the possibility of a circumstantial distance. Perhaps obstacles keep appearing, one after another, making it harder to be together. Every time you try to move forward, something pulls you back. Plans get cancelled, opportunities to connect are missed, and no matter how much effort you put in, things don't seem to align. When this happens repeatedly, it's worth reflecting. Is this Allah closing the door on something that isn't meant for you? This kind of divine intervention is a subtle form of mercy. If Allah didn't create this distance, you might hold on to something harmful, clinging to an idea of happiness that isn't truly good for you. By stepping in and separating you from the person, Allah saves you from potential harm, spiritually, emotionally, or even physically. It's important to remember that Allah sees the bigger picture, the parts of the story you can't yet understand. In moments like these, it's easy to feel confused or even hurt. You might question why Allah is allowing this to happen, especially if you had hopes and dreams tied to the relationship. But His decisions are always for your benefit, even when they don't make sense in the moment. Reflect on the idea that sometimes what we want most is the very thing that would harm us. This serves as a reminder that our limited perspective can't always grasp the wisdom behind what is happening. When you notice this kind of disconnection, take it as an opportunity to reflect. Instead of forcing the relationship to continue, step back and seek clarity through prayer and introspection. Ask yourself if the growing distance is a sign that this relationship isn't meant to be. You might find that this space, which once felt like a loss, is actually a chance to realign your path with something far better. Sometimes, though, the distance isn't the only sign. A more obvious, yet often overlooked sign comes in the form of what seems to disappear from the relationship itself. When the blessings in your life start to fade, it might be an even stronger indication of what lies ahead. Let's explore this next. Sign 2. Unexplainable loss of Barakah. Brothers and sisters, the most telling sign that Allah is guiding you away from a relationship is sometimes not loud or dramatic. Instead, it's subtle yet persistent, the feeling that blessings or barakah have quietly disappeared from your life. Everything connected to the relationship starts to feel heavy, draining, or stagnant. What once seemed to flow naturally now feels forced, and no matter how much effort you pour in, progress seems impossible. Barakah isn't just about material wealth or visible success, it's the quiet ease, the unseen blessings, and the harmony that Allah places in our lives when things align with His will. When Barakah is present, life feels lighter. There's a sense of purpose, clarity, and even joy in the challenges you face. But when a relationship lacks Barakah, the opposite happens. Everything begins to feel strained. You might notice it in your finances. Money that used to be sufficient now feels tight, no matter how much you budget. Unexpected expenses might arise, leaving you feeling overwhelmed and uncertain. Financial struggles aren't always about numbers. They can sometimes be signs that something deeper is out of alignment. Emotionally, you may feel exhausted. A relationship that lacks Barakah can drain your energy in ways you can't quite explain. Even when you're not actively arguing or dealing with conflicts, the weight of the relationship stays with you. It might manifest as a constant sense of unease, frustration, or sadness. You may even notice that your motivation to pursue personal goals or connect with others begins to fade. Communication also becomes a challenge. Despite your best efforts to understand each other, miscommunication and misunderstandings seem to pile up. Conversations that used to bring you closer now feel tense or unresolved. Instead of building each other up, it feels as though every interaction takes more out of you than it gives back. These experiences are not coincidences. They often point to a deeper spiritual reality. When Allah removes Barakah from a part of your life, it's a sign that something is out of sync with His plan. A relationship aligned with Allah's will brings ease even in hardship. It doesn't mean there won't be challenges, but there will be a sense of balance, growth, and mutual support. Without Barakah, however, even the simplest things feel unnecessarily difficult. It's important to pause and reflect. Is this relationship uplifting me and bringing me peace, or does it feel like a weight pulling me down? This question isn't about blame, but about awareness. Allah often allows us to feel this heaviness as a form of guidance, inviting us to re-evaluate whether this relationship is truly serving our spiritual, emotional, and personal growth. The loss of Barakah isn't limited to just one area of your life. It can ripple outward, affecting your overall well-being. You may find it harder to maintain your connection with Allah. Prayers that once came easily now feel like a struggle. Acts of worship or reflection might begin to feel distant. This spiritual stagnation is not a punishment, but a signal, a reminder that something in your life may need to change for your heart to reconnect with its creator. Still, this doesn't mean you should immediately give up on a relationship at the first sign of difficulty. Challenges are a natural part of any connection, and relationships require effort and patience. The key difference lies in the underlying feeling. When Barakah is absent, the effort you put in doesn't yield results. It feels like you're pouring water into a broken vessel. No matter how much you try, nothing stays. On the other hand, when a relationship is aligned with Allah's will, even the hard times come with a sense of purpose. You feel supported by divine wisdom, knowing that the challenges are temporary and that they're helping you grow. This ease, even in hardship, is a hallmark of Barakah, a sign that Allah's blessings are with you. When you notice an unexplainable loss of Barakah, it's an opportunity to reflect deeply. Consider the relationship's impact on your peace, purpose, and connection with Allah. Is it helping you become a better version of yourself, or is it slowly pulling you away from the path you're meant to walk? These questions, though difficult, can lead you to clarity. And as you reflect, remember that Allah never takes away something without replacing it with something better. The loss of Barakah in one area of your life might be the signal you need to let go, so that you can make space for the blessings waiting to come. As we move forward, let's explore another powerful sign: the way others in your life might see the truth you're not yet ready to face. Sign 3. Repeated warnings in your dreams or intuition. When Allah wants to guide or protect you, His signs often come in ways that are deeply personal and hard to ignore. Dreams and intuition are some of the most profound tools He uses to reach your heart. These are not random occurrences or fleeting thoughts. They are purposeful, carrying messages meant to steer you toward what is best for you. You might experience recurring dreams involving the person you're in a relationship with. Dreams that leave you with a sense of conflict, unease, or even separation. These dreams feel vivid, almost like a glimpse into a truth you're not yet ready to face. They may not provide all the answers, but they plant a seed of doubt or caution in your mind. Or perhaps, even without dreams, you feel a deep and persistent unease whenever you think about the relationship. It's not something you can easily explain to others, but it lingers, a gnawing sense that something isn't right, even when everything on the surface seems fine. This is your intuition, a gift from Allah, guiding you to look deeper. Throughout history, divine guidance through dreams has been a recurring theme in the lives of the prophets. Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, received visions that carried profound meaning, directing him and others around him. These dreams weren't just coincidental, they were signs of divine wisdom, a way for Allah to reveal truths that weren't immediately visible. Similarly, your dreams or intuitive feelings may be Allah's way of opening your eyes to something you've been avoiding. Consider this. Are you ignoring the whispers of your soul because they don't align with what you want to believe. It's easy to dismiss a recurring dream as meaningless or to brush off a gut feeling as irrational. But when these signs keep appearing, it's worth pausing to reflect. Why would you repeatedly feel unsettled about someone who's supposed to bring you peace? Why would your dreams portray conflict or distance if the relationship were truly meant to be? These warnings, subtle as they may be, often arise when you've become too attached to see the situation clearly. Emotions can blind you to the flaws or dangers in a relationship, but Allah's guidance cuts through that fog, urging you to pay attention. Dreams and intuition don't lie. They reveal the truths you may be too afraid to confront. It's not easy to accept what these signs might mean. They may challenge the image you've built of the relationship or force you to question the future you've envisioned. But Allah never places unease in your heart without a purpose. That discomfort is His mercy, nudging you to reconsider and to protect you from greater harm. So, take a moment to reflect. Are your dreams or inner feelings revealing a truth you've been avoiding? Listen closely to what they're telling you. Allah's guidance is always there, subtle yet constant, leading you toward peace, clarity, and what is ultimately better for you. But what happens when the signs don't come from within you? Sometimes Allah speaks through the people around you, using their words, actions, and advice as a way to show you the truth you've been unable to see. Sign 4. Everyone else sees what you don't. The truth about a relationship can often be seen most clearly by those standing on the outside. When friends, family, or even acquaintances repeatedly raise concerns, it's not just random noise. It's often a reflection of a deeper reality you might be missing. These external voices, no matter how hard they are to hear, could be Allah's way of guiding you toward clarity and truth. People who care about you often notice what your emotions might blind you to. Your family, for instance, might pick up on patterns or behaviors that you've excused or overlooked. They might observe how the person speaks to you, how they treat others, or how your relationship has changed you. Similarly, your closest friends, who know you well, might express concern when they see that you're no longer the happy, confident person you once were. But the warnings aren't always limited to those closest to you. Sometimes, even acquaintances or strangers might offer unexpected insight. A passing comment or a piece of advice from someone you barely know can resonate deeply, as though it's confirming the doubts you've been trying to suppress. These interactions might feel coincidental, but they are anything but. Allah works in ways we can't fully comprehend, and He often sends guidance through the voices of others. Islam teaches us the value of shura, or consultation. The wisdom of those around us is not something to take lightly. It is a tool Allah has given us to help navigate life's challenges. When you consult those who genuinely care for you, parents, siblings, trusted friends, you're tapping into a collective wisdom that can provide clarity. If multiple people are consistently pointing out the same red flags or advising you to reconsider, it's worth paying attention. Their concerns may be Allah's way of showing you what your own heart is reluctant to see. It's natural to feel defensive when others criticize someone you care about or question your choices. Love can cloud judgment, making it easy to dismiss their concerns as misunderstandings or negativity. But ask yourself this: are they really being unreasonable, or are they seeing a truth you're not ready to face? Are you protecting a relationship that is harming you simply because letting go feels too hard? These consistent warnings from others are not about judgment. They're about love. The people in your life want what's best for you. If they repeatedly express disapproval or share doubts about your relationship, it's often because they see how it's affecting you. They might notice a loss of joy, energy, or focus. They might see how the relationship has distanced you from your family, friends, or even Allah. Listening to these voices requires humility and courage. It means setting aside your pride and being willing to ask hard questions. What are they seeing that I'm not? Why do I feel the need to defend this relationship so strongly? Could they be right? These reflections are not easy, but they are necessary if you want to align your life with Allah's guidance. Ultimately, Allah wants what is best for you, and He often sends signs through the people who love you most. Their repeated concerns and observations might be the lifeline you need to reevaluate and realign your path. Ignoring these signs could lead to greater hardship down the road, but heeding them could save you from a situation that is not meant for you. But what if the signs are even closer to home, within your own connection to Allah? Let's explore how your relationship with Him could reveal the truth about your relationship with others. Sign 5. Loss of connection to Allah. When Allah places a relationship in your life, it's meant to elevate you, not just emotionally, but spiritually. One of the clearest signs that a relationship might not be meant for you is if it begins to weaken your bond with Him. Your connection to Allah is your anchor, your compass. If that connection starts to fray because of a relationship, it's worth pausing to reflect on what's truly happening. Think about the habits that define your faith. Have you found yourself neglecting your prayers or delaying them because you're too distracted by this person? Are you spending less time with the Quran, the remembrance of Allah, or acts of worship that once brought you peace? Perhaps it's not as obvious as outright abandoning these practices, but there's a subtle shift, a growing sense of spiritual distance that coincides with the relationship. This disconnection doesn't always happen abruptly. Sometimes it's gradual. Maybe you've begun prioritizing the person over your obligations to Allah, making excuses to justify their actions or your own. It could be that you're too consumed by the relationship's highs and lows to find the same joy or focus in your worship. These patterns might feel insignificant at first, but over time, they can pull you further and further away from the one who matters most. A relationship that is truly aligned with Allah's will brings you closer to Him, not further away. It inspires you to be better, not just for the other person, but for your Creator. It uplifts your Iman, faith, and encourages you to strive for goodness in all areas of your life. Conversely, a relationship that causes you to compromise your values or lose sight of your spiritual priorities is a red flag that cannot be ignored. Reflect on this deeply. Is this relationship helping you grow spiritually, or is it pulling you away from your faith? If you feel more anxiety than peace, more distraction than focus, it's a sign to re-evaluate where you're headed. Allah never places love in your life that requires you to neglect Him to maintain it. Let's take a moment to consider the wisdom in this. Everything in Islam revolves around balance and intention. Relationships are meant to be a source of tranquility, a means of helping one another grow closer to Allah. When a relationship disrupts this balance, when it begins to consume your thoughts, your time, and your heart to the extent that Allah feels distant, it's not love, it's attachment. And attachment to anything that takes you away from Allah can never bring lasting peace. It's also worth noting that this isn't about perfection. Every relationship has its challenges, and no one is immune to moments of struggle. But the difference lies in whether the relationship motivates you to turn to Allah during those struggles or drives a wedge between you and your faith. If you find yourself excusing harmful behaviors, bending your boundaries, or ignoring red flags for the sake of keeping the relationship alive, it's time to ask yourself, is this worth compromising my connection to Allah? Allah is the source of all blessings, including love. When you place Him at the center of your life, everything else aligns. But when He is sidelined, even the most beautiful relationships can become sources of pain and confusion. This is why it's so important to pay attention to how a relationship affects your faith. Finally, let's look at a sign that often goes unnoticed, a pattern of disappointments that might seem trivial but could hold a deeper message. Sign 6. Persistent, unexpected disappointments. Not every sign from Allah comes as a grand, dramatic event. Sometimes it's the little things, the subtle yet persistent disappointments that quietly point to a deeper truth. When a relationship is full of unmet expectations, broken promises, and repeated letdowns, it may be Allah's way of gently nudging you toward a realization. This isn't meant for you. These disappointments often begin as small, seemingly insignificant inconveniences. Maybe plans keep falling apart at the last minute, or the person repeatedly says one thing and does another. Perhaps you notice a pattern of subtle letdowns that leave you feeling hurt, frustrated, or disillusioned. Over time, these small cracks in the relationship begin to add up, revealing a foundation that isn't as solid as it should be. But why would Allah allow these disappointments to occur? It's important to understand that these setbacks aren't random. They serve a purpose, a divine message wrapped in subtlety. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, uses these moments to protect you, to show you what you might not want to see. When something isn't good for you, He often makes it difficult to pursue, creating roadblocks and obstacles as a way of redirecting your path. Consider how these repeated setbacks affect you. Do they leave you feeling drained, questioning the relationship's future, or doubting its stability? A healthy relationship brings ease and mutual effort, not a constant struggle to make things work. If every step forward seems to be met with resistance, it's worth asking whether Allah is trying to close a door you're intent on keeping open. These disappointments may also highlight deeper issues within the relationship. Are the promises broken because the person lacks reliability? Are the cancelled plans a sign of a lack of prioritization? Often, these patterns reveal character traits or compatibility issues that would become even more problematic in the long term. Rather than viewing these setbacks as isolated incidents, it's crucial to step back and look at the bigger picture. Allah's guidance is merciful. He doesn't always remove something from your life abruptly. Instead, He gives you the opportunity to recognize the signs yourself. These consistent disappointments may feel frustrating in the moment, but they are, in fact, acts of divine compassion. Allah knows what is best for you, even when you struggle to see it. Reflect on this. Are these repeated setbacks Allah's way of saying, "This isn't meant for you"? If you're finding it harder to justify staying in the relationship than walking away, perhaps the answer is already clear. Holding on to something that consistently disappoints you only prolongs the pain. Trusting Allah's plan means letting go of what is draining you to make space for the peace and blessings He has prepared for you. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like and share it to help spread the message. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more unique and thought-provoking content like this. And if you're looking for a deeper discussion or a supportive community, join our Discord family Link is in the description. We'd love to have you there.